Hello ladies, Assalamualaikum. Okay, today I want to talk about, I posted about the documentary Becoming, and thank you Noraisha for recommending it into the group. I watched it, Zil watched it, Munira watched it, and we were all inspired in our own ways. So I would encourage, if you haven't watched it or read the book, do read it or even watch the trailer. Something that you see of the things that Michelle Obama said, that inspired you or triggered something within you, and that you can apply. All right. So as queens, what we do is any stories, any inspiring stories, we will relate back to ourselves. How can I apply it in my life? How can I use this knowledge to add value to others and also to myself? Okay, so for me, when I watch that show, one of the things, I'll just pick up um, one part of the documentary that got me, was when she said her counselor, her school counselor, said that her dream was too big to go to Princeton, because at that time no one in her community or her racial background could go into Princeton. And it reminded me of the time when I was in NUS, and this was way back. I think it was in 1992, 1991, 1992, and we had a counselor as well, a human resource counselor, to coach us on interview skills, right? And at that time, yes, I was already wearing the hijab and all that. And I have a backstory of my transformation into hijab as well. But at that time in school, in the university, I was already putting on the full hijab, and I was, we had this role play of how you're gonna apply for a job. So I did a role play in the group, and the sharing was like, oh, Mushida, you're so good, very confident, you made eye contact, blah, 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 how you can improve. And in front of everybody, she asked me this question: where do you want to apply after you graduate? And I am a major in economics and sociology, so I said, I probably want to go into human resource in the banking industry, very specific. And then she told me this: oh, that's very interesting. But it's not going to be easy, because you with your tudong and all that, it's going to be tough. Maybe you should consider something else. And at that point, I felt like I am not worthy enough because of the way I dress and who I am. And if some of you knew me, I removed my hijab. I wore it halfway, I wore it as a scarf after I graduated, thinking that would get me better jobs. And as the story goes, I got jobs, but it was not anything to do with wearing a scarf or whatever. I got jobs because of the ability of my work and what I could do, all right, and my ethics and my work ethic as well. But at that time, my belief in myself was so low that I believed someone else telling me my worth. But over the years, when I start to own my own worth, and I start to realize, like, hey, I've got all this knowledge, and whatever people say, like, oh, you're not good enough because of your background or your degree, the kind of degree you have, or or the way you look or the way you dress. Once I took that out of the equation and I start focused on adding value, and I felt very authentic to myself. I started fully wearing the hijab in 2014. Yeah. So 2014, and then I was awarded the World Hijab Day Ambassador, and a lot of things happened for me back then. But what I realized is, when I fully embraced the hijab, my business actually grew. People started to give me jobs, training jobs, that I never thought was possible. HuffPost Live interviewed me because of the hijab, actually. HuffPost Live interviewed me, and I got more visibility after I fully embraced it, and my income also grew. But it's not because of the hijab, or it's not because of the change in whatever, it was, I believe, it is me owning my own authenticity and my own self-worth. And Michelle Obama knew it right from the beginning, because for her parents have already instilled this belief in her, right? So she's like, no way, I'm going to go to Princeton, right? So for me, my parents believe in education, so I was like, I'm going to go into NUS and I'm going to do all those things, and that got me that. But when someone else tells me that I cannot get a job because of the way I dress, because of my background, because of something, and I believed it, I was in a very disempowering state, and I was not being true to myself. So what triggered me from becoming, that video becoming, was that Michelle Obama stayed in her authenticity and in her beliefs and knowing her own self-worth. And when I applied that some years back, I applied that in knowing my own self-worth, a lot of things started to come out, and I was braver, I was confident, because I was not lying to myself and not to others. And I was I knew my worth. And there will be people who are racist. There will be people who judge because of, oh, you're a woman, or because you are 40 something, or you are 50 something, or you don't have degree, or you don't have diploma. There will be many people who will judge you no matter what. But once you own your self-worth and you keep going and doing what you are meant to do, and keep talking about it, and keep adding value about it, and keep living your life based on your purpose, after a while all those haters will be like, they can't see anything anymore. And you know what, they don't pay your rent, they don't pay your bills, they don't pay your children's education, all of those things, and they don't add to your happiness. So being authentic and being able to serve the people who you are meant to serve, I believe that was my takeaway from becoming. Hey, what's yours? Share, because I would love to see that. It can be in a video form, it can be a written form, it can be in a pictorial form. The best form of giving is also giving knowledge, and that is also the best form of charity, giving and sharing your takeaways, and that's where we all learn together. So with that, have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye bye. Assalamualaikum.